You know, I love to write, and lately I've written a lot of satire. There are times people disagree with what I say, but sometimes they disagree because they don't catch the satire. Now, that makes me either really good at satire or really bad. But I do love when people react because that means they actually have taken the time to watch, and I appreciate that. But today I'm going to take just a moment to step out of my satirical character and say what I really feel about some of these issues. Now in this first video, I'm going to bring up a little bit about both parties, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and also I'll mention the president too. Now, the first thing is I used to be a Republican, but didn't like what was happening with the Republican Party, and I became a Democrat. But I will say that I'm really an independent in the sense that I'm looking for good people in either party, and they're hard to find in either party. But one thing, I think that both extremes of either party are not good. I think those people are misguided, and they need to come to the middle, as compromise is life. It is not evil. I've talked a little bit about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, I don't feel Marjorie Taylor Greene is a great congresswoman. I think that she proudly proclaims her Christianity, but she's a bigot, and she's a white supremacist. And she's a danger to democracy because of some of the beliefs and absurd facts. There was no Holocaust, that the Jews used laser beams to start the 2018 California fires. And her list goes on. Now, as an ex-school administrator, I can't even imagine hiring anybody with those kinds of thoughts. And yet, she is in Congress. I believe that Jesus taught us to love one another, and not just people we like. And I do believe that we are all children of God, despite what some evangelicals claim. And I have to admit, as a Christian, it's difficult not to judge people. And I try to focus on not liking what they think or say. But as a sinner, I can't judge. So I try to ridicule, and they have that right to ridicule me. And again, Jesus was not a Republican. Jesus was not a Democrat. And trying to say that he was one and make that party the party of Jesus makes no sense. Jesus was politically savvy, but he was not political. I mentioned Fox News a lot. I don't consider them a source of truth, but a source of constant lies in their attempt to stir up people, because they just want to increase their bottom line, as just about any commercial network wants to do. I think that people like Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, and Tucker Carlson, they're dangerous too. They're not a source of news, but a danger in the sense that they dog whistle every bad instinct of our people. Good people. I can say good people because many of them are friends and relatives of mine, and they religiously watch Fox News. That the people who stormed the Capitol are really traitors and seditionists, and they should be hunted down by the law and prosecuted and given jail time and fines where appropriate. In other words, they should be treated equally as blacks would have been treated if they had stormed the Capitol that day. And speaking of January 6th, as Franklin Roosevelt might say, a day that will live in infamy, we need to look at the tapes very closely, and not after looking at them recreate what we just saw, or allow guys like Tucker Carlson and his associates to minimize what happened. Believe what you saw. It was bad. And to deny it or ignore it to say to move on is not being patriotic. It is extremely unpatriotic and a danger to our country. And I don't think Donald Trump was a great president. I think he is a danger still because of the way he will not give up on the election being rigged. But I don't think of him as a great president, a good president. I do think of him as one of the worst presidents we've ever had. And I know there are many who disagree. And every time we have to hear about the will of the people of 70-something million, there were quite a few million also who did not support him in that election. And I believe that the ex-president and his cronies who lied to us about the coronavirus early on, and as the months went on, could have helped prevent at least some of the deaths of the over 600,000 Americans who have succumbed to COVID. And more than that, I am just fascinated with that kind of blood on their hands. They still get so much support. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more in my next video about people who won't wear masks, people who don't want to get vaccinated. So I hope you can join me for the next part. Thanks.